What up, peeps? What are some jobs for thinkers? Jobs for philosophers? I would say career, but most philosophers don't want to take a career on. It's funny because this came up earlier. Uh, I was looking up careers for people who like to do certain things. It was like this chart where showed certain personality traits and how they correlate to certain jobs. Some people are outspoken and they're good at being teachers. Some people are very subdued. They're good at doing their own personal thing, working by themselves. And the part that really caught me was it said jobs for philosophers, and there was a whole page on it, and it said that I knew what to expect. I wasn't actually looking it up because as soon as you look up the word philosopher, the only thing that comes up, of course, comes up the most often, is people who are philosophy majors. And they're saying, what can you do with your philosophy major after you leave college? Yeah, I find it hilarious to me. Philosophy to me has nothing to do with academics. Studying philosophy it's like studying traveling, okay? That's exactly what it's like. We're like studying sailing without ever being on the ocean. And we learn about all the philosophers and all the beliefs they had and ideas, and you gain a lot of wisdom from it. But philosophy is useless without applying it. So when a person leaves college, they have all these philosophy knowledge, but none of their own philosophies, perhaps. I'm not saying all people, just a lot of people. When you leave college, you spend a lot of time working and going to class. I mean, philosophy takes a lifetime. So they were saying that a majority of them go on to be philosophy teachers. So here we have people teaching philosophy to people who are going to just teach philosophy. And that's fine, but a few of them end up going on to do particular careers. And what it got me thinking was, because I've been wondering, what can I do with what I like to do? And that's why I wanted to share this video. I made one last year where I talked about multi-potentialites, which is the name that's given to people who have, well, let's say the jack of all trades. People who have a passion for many different things and cannot be tied down to one career, one job, or one idea. Now that is me completely. I fit that description to a T. I have always been the kind of person who goes from thing to thing. Not only like, say, I'll be on one job for a month and then another job for a year and then trying something different for a while, but in my daily life. When I was a carpenter, I would go and I'd work on sanding a shelf for 10 minutes, and then I'd jump over to do some trim, and I'd do some stuff on the deck, and then I'd go work on a kitchen cabinet, constantly jumping from thing to thing. And that was my advantage as a finished carpenter, being able to jump around and build different things without saying, wait, and having to regroup. I'll walk out into my office and I'll make a few packages for my Kratom business, then I'll go in the office, answer a few emails, come in here and maybe do some cleaning up and all these different things just around home, without having to sit and focus on one thing. So my point being, what do we do with that? What do we do with people who are multi-potentials? People who, and I'm sure there's a lot of you out there, a lot of the people I talk to on YouTube are a lot like me in the way that they say they have problems with trying to find something that really moves them in the world of career. I've had several people send me emails saying, dude, what do I do for work if I'm the kind of person who just likes to think? Well, I'm here to propose the same question back to everybody else again. What the hell should I do? I have an herb business, sure. I've had several different jobs in the past. I was a carpenter for a while, and I thought about getting into the cannabis market because I know a lot about cannabis and I love cannabis, but the market's become almost too plastic for me because it's legal here now. So there's a lot of people who want to do mass production on a large scale and don't have any respect for the herb, respect for the clients, the customers, and it turns me off. And this is why I started my own herb business for the same reason. People were out there buying kilos of Kratom for $50 and reselling it for way too much, and it was just junk stuff. And I got sick of it. I had ordered from so many vendors that just send me shit. And it lessens your faith in humanity. It makes you think, why are people just out there trying to rip one another off? But I realize that it's more than that, and I know it's not that. that many people just do have good values. Perhaps they just don't know what good product is, or perhaps they had a hard time in their life and they weren't able to fulfill customer service. And this is in all jobs, all areas of work. But me as a person, I could never go and take a job at a warehouse at this point in my life and work on an assembly line for the rest of my life. It's literally not possible at this point. I shouldn't say that because I know that whenever I get into something new, I can program my mind and turn it around. I guess what it is that I don't want to become that number, and I don't want to get my mind stuck in something stupid, fruitless, and mindless. Yet, I'm not disrespecting people who do that, because I'm sure there's one person out there watching this right now who's thinking, fuck you, man, I have a job like that. You know, not everybody can just work for themselves. Dude, I totally sympathize. I worked in some of the shittiest places. I was a roofer. I worked at a gas station, pumping gas in one of the only states that still pumps, won't let you pump your own gas, Oregon. And I worked in a warehouse for a while that took in damaged goods from grocery stores, and then they stockpiled it all in the center of this warehouse, and then we'd take it down box by box, and then you had to unload and run it down a conveyor belt and scan it, and if it was good, you'd throw it in the food bank box. If it was bad, you'd throw it in the garbage. You know how many cans of cat food came down that conveyor belt that had busted open in shipping and had maggots crawling all over the place? I saw some of the most disgusting, moldy, maggot-infested shit, and there were rats in there and everything, and I was like, you know, it was a job, and I did it for a while. And I remember talking to the manager one time because I said I can't do this anymore, and I just quit. And it was through the temp service, and so I ran into the guy, the manager, one time in like G.I. Joe's. It's like a sporting goods store. He's like, "Oh, hey, you know, how have you been?" I said, "Good." I said, "I just had to quit. I just can't, you know, couldn't do it." And he's like, "If you want to come back, you know, we can give you a raise and you can work for us directly instead of the temp service." And he goes, "You know, if you stay there for a few years, you know, you can get up to, you know, assistant manager, $7.50." That was the wage at the time, and that was back when minimum wage was like $6. So what? You work there for 10 years and you get another $1.50. It was kind of that moment where I decided I need to do my own thing, because money has never been the thing for me. So lately I'm trying to figure out how can I apply the fact that I love to talk and make YouTube videos and make a career out of that. It's really been on the top of my mind for a while. And I usually keep my personal thoughts in life, you know, to myself. But I thought I'd throw it out there because if I'm sure there's somebody out there who resonates with this, who has some sort of a passion for speaking or sharing, and a lot of people have tried to do their own, you know, their own channels, webcasts and whatnot. Some of them are really good, and some of them just suck. I heard some interviews recently with some of my like people that I considered, you know, great contributors to, like, say, the psychedelic movement or whatnot. I saw somebody who had interviewed an author of 3 books I like. His name's Dale Pendle, and he wrote Pharmacognosis and Pharmacopoeia. Great books about psychedelics and plants. And the interview was done by this guy that just didn't have a clue. He didn't know shit about the work. He knew a little bit about what was going on, but it was so horrible. The guy was so soft-spoken. He couldn't interview, couldn't ask the right questions. And I've seen so much of this going on with the internet now, because anybody can interview. My point being, I'm not trying to diss anyone. I'm saying that if people can succeed doing things like that and get their own radio show, why can't I? But I just don't know how to do it. I don't know how to go about it, exactly how I want to tackle it, you know. I don't want to sell out. I guess that's it. I never wanted to sell out because I have a passion for being honest and being truth and being myself. I've had people, you know, email me asking me if I want to be a partnership on my YouTube channel so I can, you know, start collecting ad revenue, and they want to advertise and stuff. And I just turn them down. They're like, "Well, what are your interests with this channel?" I'm saying, "I just want to talk about life. And I don't want to be edited. And I don't want to be held back from saying what I truly feel." So my YouTube channel's always going to remain my YouTube channel for talking. And there will be no commercials. But I say that today. Maybe tomorrow I'll change my mind. So what I'm saying is that, how do I move this into a place where I have a radio show? Or, you know, I'd like to do maybe to interview people who really move me. You know, I feel like I really can contribute to the world of talk. It sounds silly, But it took me a long time to realize that I was good at it and I enjoyed it. Because I try to be humble, you know. I can beat myself down by saying, oh, you talk too much. I was confronted in the past by, like, you know, like my mom would say that I'm very intense, you know, and I am. And it's hard for me to not be intense. And it may seem in a conversation like I'm angry or like, oh, upset. I'm totally not. I'm always calm and collected, and for the most part. But I love the rush I get from talking and getting the energy out and like sharing things with people. But for videos like this, it's one-sided. You know, I'm just talking to myself. But I feel like I'm talking to all of you. It's hard to explain, but when I'm making these videos, randomly subscribers go through my head. You know, oh, like so-and-so and so-and-so. And I have a lot of really cool subs that I just love, all you guys. Even the ones that, you know, some of you who have been with me for a long time, that we tease back and forth, man, I really love you guys. You're awesome. Guys and girls, of course, not just guys. I want to make better connections using this method of communication, which is me being able to talk on a camera, not being afraid of who I am or what I have to say, and I'm trying not to be arrogant here. It's just that I'm finally giving myself credit for what I like to do and saying, how do I apply this to life and make it work for me? So yeah, I don't know. I'll figure it out. If any of you have any suggestions, let me know. If you know of any particular programs or radio shows or anything like that, you know, if I could make just eke by a basic living doing this, I would love it, because it would allow me so much more free time to think and to study more without feeling obligated or guilty to work and to make money. I feel like you know, I don't feel like talk is work because I'm not doing anything with it except talking. But in my heart, I know it is, because a lot of people out there have told me that they've really gotten, you know, been moved by certain subjects. It's like at least once a month somebody says, man, I had a really bad day, but I watched this video of yours and it reminded me that I'm in charge of myself. I'm in charge of my mind. And that it really helped me, you know, stuff like that. And that moves me to the point where I keep doing it. I keep doing it. And not to the degree of arrogance where like, oh, I'm helping people at all. We're all helping each other. And they're helping me by even saying that. Helping me to know I'm helping them. And the ultimate end goal for me is to see people happy in my world so the next generation can be happy. It has nothing to do with leaving anything behind to remind people of who Josh was. You know, Carpo was just another YouTube person who came and went with the digital age like everyone else. But if I can leave a few ideas imprinted with people, ideas of tolerance, acceptance, and love, the things that I know are true, you know, without trying to come up with possibilities or things that may or may not be true, but the facts. The facts is that you're happier when you love. You're happier when you share. You're happier when you're tolerant. Just look at the people around you and you'll know exactly why. So, the video's already getting too long, so namaste, everybody.